All right, so the people have spoken and they want that new Chet Manley. The last video I posted got like dozens of views. It's blowing up on YouTube. So I'm going to post another match from the last month at the Armoury. Branden, again, sent me some more footage from feature matches and invited me to go over them. So this one is, and I'm gonna link his channel again, and probably there's another monthly this Sunday, so probably more content's gonna come out from that on Brandon's channel. Maybe if we do well, we'll be on one of those feature matches in Top Cut, but maybe not. So this match is between my buddy Josh on the left and a Hero Frog player on the right. I don't know that person. I actually watched over this match earlier, and I did see some missequencing and stuff like that. So, not going to be like super harsh on any of the technical play, but I am gonna call it out a little bit just because I think it's a good way to improve. I think it's actually super valuable being able to watch back games and get feedback on it. So, anytime I post my own games, I always invite people to criticize me, call me out for fucking stuff up. Like in my feature matches in Denver, people were saying, "Oh, you could have done this and that," and I was like, shit. Yeah. So then you start thinking about it, and you hope to not make them same mistake twice. So yeah, maybe that'll be the same thing here. But we'll just get into it. So this video says unsure versus Xavier, but it's my buddy Josh on the left, and it also said right there spellcasters because Josh is playing a deck that is just his own creation. It's not a real thing, like an established deck. It's really just like sort of like a chaos stun kind of deck where he's actually cut the trap count quite a bit at this point, but it's mostly just good darks and lights with a couple of boss monsters. Like it has the dad and the chaos orc, which is all you really have in Edison. But yeah, so he's gonna go T set. So you kind of assume that that's a Raikou generally when you're T setting. Let's slow this down, it's a little fast. So you kind of assume that that's a Raikou when you're T setting. Oh wow, I already missed the first thing I want to talk about. So yeah, anyways, he T sets passes, deprisons the Ocean, which is a little weird because Ocean's pretty low value, but you also get the hero name out of the graveyard, which is really what you want. So it's actually a good deprison. But this person on the right set before attacking, which is pretty much never ever correct. And he also, so he Raigeki braked the breaker, so the breaker went +1, which is great for Josh. And then I believe Josh just. Yeah, he's just going to end right there. So Josh is not going to flip up this set monster, which means it's probably not a Raikou because you would probably want to flip that Raikou into the back row to guarantee your Kaiku gets through. Oh, and we also saw that this guy on the right had pitched the big hero Malicious Edge for his Raigeki break. So this is a pretty poor use of econ. I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. I'm just saying it's pretty like low value econ, but Kaiku puts on pressure like that, and then there's no follow-up to stop the Kaiku, so now this is just going to turn back and swing in anyways. And here's the Battle Fader. So I don't know if this person drew the Battle Fader afterwards, because you can Battle Fader's not like Gores. You can Battle Fader with a set back row. But yeah, he's going to drop the Battle Fader, and Josh is going to set 1. This monster still doesn't flip up, so it's pretty weird. Like, what is sitting there? I don't get it. And then he drops the Substode. This is going to be another kind of weird sequence I want to talk about. So he activates Substode effect, special swap, sends for swap, gets the Treeborn in, then he's going to use Substode again, go straight into the Unifrog. So generally Substode wants to deck thin here and send all of the frogs that he can. So it's weird to just end with so many frogs in your deck that you don't want to draw. And it's also pretty greedy to go into a Unifrog here, because you could just go into a floating dupe here in defense position, not run into a Mirror Force, and you can also Yeah, protect the Unifrog when you keep a dupe on field. And then he's going to put the Unifrog in grave when it's supposed to be in deck, shuffled, because he's going to main phase 2, Substoad, float into the dupe. But yeah, even on Josh's side here, pitching, I didn't see what he pitched. Oh, and also, the crop on this video is probably going to be a little fucked up because I'm struggling with OBS, but the pitch to bounce the Unifrog is a little bit weird because if you clear the Substoad there, then the Unifrog is just by itself and you're probably clearing it next turn, and it's a low value card at that point with no back row anyways, so really weird turn from both players there. But yeah, he ends up on the Dupe Frog, and then Josh drops the perfect answer to the Dupe Frog, brings in the DD Warrior Lady, clears, and now the Kaiku gets in there, and this is another missequence on the left. So the Gores drops, but Kaiku connected, so Josh should be able to turn off the Miracle Fusion here, but I think he banishes Swap Treeborn. So this player on the right should have already sent both Treeborns, right? So that should have been Treeborn. But also, with just one Treeborn engraved, Josh should have banished the Hero Monster and turned off Miracle Fusion right there. So now we're going to turn 1 to attack and go over the Kaiku with the Gores, set 1 back row. Now Josh is going to flex those 3 Darks in grave. Love it, love it. Drop the Dark Armed. I assume he's saying right now priority, pop the Gores. Yep, and then he will continue to clear this board. Next clear should be the monster. But probably this back row is not getting used at this point, or he would have done it right there after the Gores. And then he's going to banish his last Dark and pop the back row, which was a Mirror Force. Dark Arm's going to get in there. We already saw Gores come down, and we even saw Battle Fader, so there's really nothing that's going to come down. And then he sets another monster and a back row. So, again, we generally are going to assume that next monster is a Raikou. So he gets a Soul Exchange, drop Caius, so that clears the Dark Armed. And now, I would, if I were him, banish the new set, because we know that this old set monster has been doing nothing, but we banish the back row, which is pretty much never correct with Caius, especially in a turn you don't have a battle phase, and it's a book. So this is a big punish for a bad sequence right there. And the book gets good value, but Josh is not able to clear this 1000 defense Caius and sets a third monster. Like, so weird, honestly. Gonna banish the new set, which was a Raikou. So you assume the previous set was not a Raikou, and it was not. It was a Morphing Jar. This is a card Josh really likes to play because he used to play a much heavier trap lineup. Okay, so this is with a new grip of cards. Sets 2, passes, and this card has been on the field since like turn 1, this set monster. And he's going to finally clear it. It's a Necro Garden. I don't know if it's going to be cut off from the screen, but it was a Necro Garden. Josh gets Heavy Stormed. One of the cards is a Mirror Force. I don't see the other card. Stratos comes down. And here is another turn I did not like from the player on the right. So I don't know what the life is exactly at this point, but I would for sure get in there with the Absolute Zero right now. I can see 2 Miracle Fusions in his hand. I would 100% be pushing in with Ab Zero right now. But he elects to just go in with the Stratos Caius. Now Josh is going to brain control the Caius, normal summon the Spirit Reaper. So it looks like he is going to get punished for not putting down that Ab Zero, which, I mean, the nice thing about just dropping an Ab Zero here was you make your opponent play, you Ab Zero into no back row, which is ideal, and you make your opponent play their turn with an Ab Zero on your field where there's basically no way for them to make a strong push because it's just going to clear their board. But Now he's going to get a card ripped, which is a huge punish, and it is a Miracle Fusion, which should have been an Ab-Zero on the field. And now Josh is able to set 3 into, now that the Heavy Storm is burned. But he has to give back this Kai, so he wasn't able to convert it. So we saw Mirror Force go down. I'm not sure what the other card was that got Heavy Stormed. So here's another pretty sloppy play. So right here, it's okay that he wanted to normal summon into the 3 back row with Swap Frog. Swap Frog is like meant to be like a non-committal commitment. But on this normal summon, he absolutely needed to priority pay cost to bounce the Caius. For sure, he needed to do that to keep his Caius. We're going to see the Miracle Fusion now into the 2 back row. And it's going to get bottomless. Also, I didn't see him. Does he have another Treeborn in his deck? Because he also didn't use the Swap Frog effect to send the Treeborn, which for sure should have happened there also. So he gets in there with the Gale. Looks like the hand is Brain Control Alias. Tries to swing in. And it's another book, another really good book. I don't know Alias's defense. I feel like it's 1600, which is bullshit. Alias already has a really strong effect. Its name is Hero. And then here's a play I don't like from Josh. So if I were Josh, I would have swung into this Alias, assuming it's a higher, I think it's like 1600 defense. I would have swung into this Alias and halved it, halved it down to 950, and then your Gale is bigger for the next turn. That's what I would have done if you're on like if both you guys are on like no resources. Okay, so he's going to Brain Con the Gale, normal summon the Little Hero, and just swing in, which is like, do you not have any synchros? I saw a Junk Synchron. I think he got a Junk Synchron when he got Morphing Jarred, so you definitely play like level 5s and 6s, so this Gale definitely should have converted into like a Android, and I don't know the life, but that's probably game if he swings in with an Android or a Catastor or something. So crazy that he gave that back, and then gonna mill double Cyber Dragon, and then it looks like this is just enough for game with Josh swinging in with the Card Trooper on the Little Hero. So weird endgame there, but yeah, I think both of these guys had some stuff they could tighten up. But yeah, you get to see a little bit of this cool deck on the left with all of these. You know, it's basically just a pile of like good cards. Oh, another thing I want to talk about. I'm gonna see on the left some of the siding. I can't see the siding on the right, but I see Josh go by his Pulling the Rugs a couple times, which I would definitely like. This is the matchup to bring those in, so I don't know where he's bringing them in if it's not this matchup. And then I also see him side out the space right there and keep in the Heavy Storm. I definitely, regardless of going first or second, prefer Space Typhoon to Heavy Storm against Frogs. Was that a Mask of Restrict that he was just taking out also? Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to him after this. But yeah, there's both of his Pulling the Rugs. I don't. Maybe the Mask went out and the Pulling the Rug went in. Okay, I don't know what he's doing. But anyways, these are definitely the matchups to bring them in. But yeah, Heavy Storm. So Heavy Storm, I used to always set out against Frogs, but honestly, they do play a lot of traps. So like, I do understand an argument for keeping it in going second, but I do just prefer the Mystical Space Typhoon because most of their traps are chainable, so it's good to just get it down and turn off their like one set, you know. I think it's a lot better than Heavy Storm because you also want to bring in all your hate, and then you end up on higher back row against Frogs. So, but yeah, he opens Stratos, tries searching Caius, nice try, but he's gonna get the Ocean instead. This thing's probably gonna get pitched to swap if I had to guess. That's kind of what it does. And then he sets 2. Kind of weird. I think he started the last game set 2 as well, which you don't really expect from this deck because, again, it's not a super high trap count. One of them is a space. Okay, that makes sense. Hits the Mirror Force. And then, again, we're assuming that this is a Ryko set on Josh's side, just in general in Edison, but we also saw the Rykos last game. So he's thinking about sacking the Stratos, dropping the Caius. Yep, I agree with that play. Definitely do it if you can. Stratos already replaced itself. And then bam, swinging with Caius. Looks good. Okay, lure. Banish the Kaiku. Probably not getting through the Caius right now. That makes sense. And he's going to T-set into this board. This set on the other side has been there since the Stratos turn 1. And now we're going to see a really, really ugly -1 heavy storm. And it's an econ again. I don't understand. And Josh got a bottomless heavy. I don't understand why you need to set an econ behind a Stratos, because Stratos is not a monster you're really trying to protect. It already replaced itself. It's just out there, and if it dies, it dies. I would definitely not set an econ behind it. So we're going to see another Brain Control take the Caius, and we saw last turn that the Caius ran over the Plague Spreader, so now Josh is going to special summon the Plague Spreader, and this is a really, really good heads-up play. I was super happy seeing this. He's going to go into a Thought Ruler. So with no back row, and you know frogs don't generally play like cards like Bottomless, Thought Ruler gets better and better, and then against frogs, they play Raigeki Break and Deprison and Brain Control and Enemy Controller. And Thought Ruler just gets awesome. It gets so good. And then we see another Kaiku come down, so Thought Ruler is going to slam into this ocean, gain some life, do some damage, and then the Kaiku is going to get in there and clear the graveyard. We see the Miracle Fusion in his hand, so this Kaiku should be killing this Miracle Fusion, but Josh hits a Caius instead. I don't know why he did this, because Caius can never come back. Caius doesn't do anything in the graveyard for this Hero Frog deck, so he really needed to hit Stratos Ocean. That would have been so backbreaking, but he leaves a Stratos in the graveyard. I don't know why, but I assume he's going to get punished for it because it's a Hero Frog deck and we see the Miracle Fusion. So this is pretty funny. So the Brain Control has to take this Caius. The reason he has to do this is going to be a 3-card fusion, because he cannot banish from his graveyard with Kaiku on the opponent's side of the field, so he has to Brain Control the Kaiku to make this happen. Normal summon his dupe and banish it with Miracle Fusion as well as the Stratos Engrave because of Kaiku. So Kaiku really fucked this shit up right there. And it does this to a lot of decks, which is why this deck, as weird as it seems with the main deck Breakers and Kaikus and Warrior Ladies and everything, it's just all of those cards disrupt so many decks. And then he's forced to just hand back the Kaiku because he had to do the normal summon Dupe Frog because Miracle cannot banish from the hand. And he has 1 card. So Josh is going to go in, attack the Ab-Zero. I think, I'm not sure on the rulings. I don't have a Yu-Gi-Oh! PhD. It's more like a Master's. So I think that Thought Ruler is a mandatory effect to gain life, and Ab-Zero is definitely a mandatory effect to pop. So I think that they're both going to activate when Ab-Zero hits the grave, and Thought Ruler is going to be Chainlink 1 and Ab-Zero is going to be Chainlink 2, and then Ab-Zero is going to pop first, and Thought Ruler won't gain life, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know what the life is, but I think that's how that works. So now we're going to see a pitch special swap, pitch the Treeborn in front of the Breaker just to preserve life. The Breaker puts on a lot of pressure like this. Now, this player on the right is going to set into the Breaker. Whenever people do this, set into a known Breaker, Lila, something like that, I do not like popping the card that they set, because it's you're doing what they want you to do. You're playing into exactly what they want, so they're doing this expecting you to pop it, so it's generally not to your benefit to pop it. Understand that when people do this, it's generally going to be a chainable card or a dead card that they just want to deal with your Breaker effect. In this situation, the opponent has a Treeborn Frog on the field, no cards in hand, and he sets that card. I don't see the point of popping this card, because let's say, for example, it's like a Deprison or something. you're burning that card with your breaker anyways, and the likelihood of him setting a D prison with no cards in hand into your breaker is like, I think it's extremely low. So I would rather just swing into this Treeborn. If they have a way to use that trap card, then the breaker did its job and popped a back row. If they don't, now their back row is stuck and their Treeborn is dead, and I don't like Josh is gonna pop the card, which I understand. Take your plus, and then you put him on no cards with 3 cards in your hand. But I don't know. I don't really like that there, and it ends up being a bluff soul exchange. So he would have been punished if he had not done that. And then again, there's not really a huge point in doing it because he ends up doing nothing. He doesn't even attack this Treeborn or summon a monster or anything. So if you're not going to do anything this turn, you could have also done it next turn, most likely. I guess technically if it was like a Rye Break. Now that Rye Break is live, I don't know. But yeah, it ends up being a soul release, which is funny to see sided in against him. I think it's just a sign of like, he doesn't really know what he's playing against. Now here's a main phase 1 synchro into Arcanite, which I don't agree with. This is missing damage, missing 1600 damage because could have gone Gale over the Treeborn and then attack with Breaker with no cards in the opponent's hand, and then Arcanite in defense, but no big deal. Or I guess you could have done Arcanite in attack with 2400 and then top deck Smashing Ground. Perfect top deck there. Okay, so Josh is up big on cards but not on field. Doesn't look like he's found a monster. And then the opponent finds a Caius, pops a back row. Pretty low value Caius, but you kind of have to put a monster out there, and he gets booked. Here's a charge, mills Spirit Reaper, Book, and Trooper. And Josh feverishly picks up his graveyard, counts the darks. I think we know what's coming. Oh, Josh's getting nervous. Look at him. Fanning it out. Damn, really milking this moment. Oh yeah, there it is, daddy. Drops the Dark Armed. I don't know what life is. Yeah, I would probably pop it too. Just get that 2800 in. Push for 28. Set up back row. I saw the top deck from the opponent was a Dandy, which is actually a pretty ideal draw. I mean, and he's going to remember he wanted to put the Treeborn on. So Dark Arm pops the Dandy. So now he has 3 bodies blocking. If this is a Raikou, he can flip. Oh, it doesn't matter. Lightning Vortex, pitch the Heavy Storm. And then that's game. Yep, Josh got it. 2-0. Not bad. But yeah, pretty cool to see this deck that he's been working on for quite a while. It is a really cool deck and is actually pretty scary to play. Because most decks don't really like dealing with the Raikous and then the Warrior Ladies. And then he has like the boss monster Chaos Sork and Dark Arm Dragon, plenty of back row, the Breakers and Kaikus. It's pretty cool. And he's been working on this for quite a while, and it's gone through some cool iterations. So it's cool to see him, take it down in a tournament. And he did pretty well at this tournament as well. So maybe we'll see more of this deck. I know that he's going to be at the next monthly on Sunday. I will be there as well. And there might be one more deck that replay that I'm gonna cover. It was another player from my locals on Black Wings against Lightsworn. It was a spanking. But yeah, if you guys want to see that, then once this video hits 1 like, I'll post that. I'll post that other replay. But this video needs to hit 1 like first. So if we can get that 1 like, then I'll do it. All right.